Hello Stampin' friends, welcome back to Ray's Create Cards. I am Ray Henderson, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Morristown, Tennessee. And I've got a little technique to bring you tonight for mass producible cards. But first, I want to amend. So in last week's video, I was showing you the ornament and the Lazy Susan organizer that some good friends had given me in a recent card class. I totally forgot to show this. They handmade this. It's just rectangle wood blocks and some round wood shapes with a little bit of burlap, a little bit of twine, but you and I both know immediately what that is, and I love it. My Christmas tree is a country theme, and Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus will be on my tree skirt right under that tree this year and for every year to come. So once again, a huge shout out to Dawn and her mom Pat for doing this for me. I love, love, love it. All right, I couldn't believe that I forgot to say anything in the last video and I left that out. All right, I sat on the fence for a good while about ordering the newest offering from Stampin' Up, which is the framed florets and the framed florets dies. I finally decided to order the bundle and the DSP, and I got it yesterday. And so I thought before we get into today's card, I would show you how I do my dies. Now y'all have seen me get out my dies, and I simply order the regular stamp cases from Stampin' Up. It will have the Stampin' Up logo on the side. And then normally I only need one magnetic sheet to put inside the case, right? But look at all the dies that you get. So there's not just one sheet, there are 2 sheets of dies. Okay, isn't that awesome? So there's no way all of this is going to fit on one magnetic sheet. So I'm simply going to take and apply a magnetic sheet to both sides of my case. I simply lay that in there and give it a good little rub. Now, there's going to be maybe some air bubbles and things showing, but we're going to cover that up here in just a second. All right, and then, just go ahead and take this out. I can take this, and because it has that clear protective cover on the outside, I can simply fit this right down in there if I hold my mouth right and get that put in, and that saves all the details. It saves the name of the dies, it saves how many dies are in this set, and it saves the item number. Now let me finish wiggling that in there. There we go. All right, perfect fit. I have 13 dies. Here is the item number for those dies, if I can hold it without a glare on it. And then, of course, here is the name of the dies and who manufactured them. So we're going to go ahead and put this one on the other side, and we're going to get ready. My manicure has already took a beating today, guys. I'm sorry. You deserve better than me showing up on camera with chipped nail polish. It has been a very busy, eventful day, not to mention physically demanding, okay? All right, so it was either do this now or maybe not get one uploaded for you at all. All right, now one of the things I like to do, and like you can tell, I'm already kind of losing a little bit of nail polish on the ends. So to keep it from being any worse, I'm gonna take my pick-a tool take your pick tool and get that started. And that's some pretty tough tape they have that on. And we're going to get these off of here and safely put away. And I promise to do this ever so quickly. But I'm loving this. And I haven't had a chance to play with really any of it except for this die and this die right here. I did have them out earlier playing with them. And I'll show you what my first attempt was on the card that we are going to be doing tonight. But anyway, needless to say, I was not happy with my first play. And I didn't get any further with the dies. But that's all right. Give me just a second here, guys, and we will have this done. Once you get a few off, the rest of it just kind of seems to go pretty quick. All right, I can put that right there in that corner. And then on this side, let me see. And try to be careful not to bend your dies. Sometimes your dies may get a little bit of a warpage to them as you start using them hard and heavy. But it doesn't hurt them. It doesn't. My stitched rectangle dies, they're horrible. They do not lay flat for nothing. All right. And one of the things that I am in a huge habit of, when I'm playing in my card room, I count everything before I put it away. But there's also one more thing that I do. So I keep mine on their side with the spine facing me. And I just have an inexpensive Dymo labeler. I think I got it for about $20 at Walmart 3 or 4 years ago. And so I always make a label showing me how many dies and the name of the dies. And I put it on the spine of my case. And then it doesn't matter. Pretty much it just doesn't matter. You know whether it's laying this way or this way. You know what you've got, okay? We are not actually going to end up using any of these dies on the finished product tonight. And I will show you why. But this was my first attempt tonight. And this sentiment comes from a current stamp set in the catalog called Inspired Thoughts. And here it is, sending healing thoughts your way. And those leaf dies that I use, see how they cut out the intricate, what I call the intricate part of it. I thought that was so pretty. But once I was done with this card, I just wasn't real happy. Yes, I will use it. Yes, someone will get it down the way. But I got to tell you guys, already a lot of people are coming down with the flu, sinus infections, and just all kinds of stuff. You know, here it is. It's flu season already and has been for a little bit. And I know this time of the year we really need Get Well and possibly even Sympathy cards, okay? So when I designed this, I designed it so that by using this sentiment, depending on what you put on the inside, as to whether it is a Sympathy card or a Get Well card, okay? We don't get a lot of scripture stamps through Stampin' Up, and I'm sure there is a reason for that. So sometimes you may have to go out of your comfort zone and get them where you can. And I'm just going to give a shout out. So the one we're going to use on the inside of this card, for I, the Lord your God, will hold your right hand, saying, fear not, I will help you. And that is Isaiah 41:13. Now, is that not appropriate for Get Well? For someone going through a rough time, or for someone who has just suffered a loss, okay? So I thought that would be appropriate, and that's what we will use on the inside of our card. And I played with it a little bit more, and so I did get out. I'm going to move this and the framed florets out of the way. I did use the Fitting Florets DSP. Now, here's the thing, guys. There are dozens of wonderfully talented demonstrators out there who have showcased every piece of the Fitting Florets DSP. They've done beautiful, beautiful cards with it. And it is not my idea to try to copy any of them in any way, shape, or form. But let me show you what I did find. So, there is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Her name is Jackie Williams, and the name of her channel is Stamp Happy New Zealand. I will be sure and link to her video in the description below, okay? Please do take time to go and watch her video, because she goes further in the video than what I am going to go with you tonight, and she gives you even more ideas, okay? Because she was in New Zealand, she was doing her very best to give imperial measurements along with their metric measurements. But I did the measurements that I normally would have done for the imperial measurements here in the U.S., okay? So, we are going to start out with and you can kind of see this one here, and this is kind of what we're going after. Except I think I'm going to change all this up right here. We're still going to use that punch, and we're still going to do the bling, but I think I'm going to use the balmy blue and stamp in the Night of Navy on the card we do right now, okay? But I wanted to show this to you because it is such an awesome, easy technique. You can easily do however many card bases you want to do. I will tell you, out of each sheet of 12 by 12 DSP, you will get 6 cards doing them like I'm going to show you, okay? So you could very easily make 6 card bases, cut 12 of your coordinating cardstock layers, and cut 6 of your DSP layers, okay? So this is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Typical, and yes, it is going to be in the portrait. You're going to take your piece of DSP and you're going to cut it 4 by 6, being mindful if it's an up and down pattern, please be sure and cut it accordingly, okay? And you do want a piece of DSP that has a nice coordinating pattern on the back, and this one certainly fits that bill, okay? And then you're going to want, now I cut mine at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, so it's just going to have a skinny border all the way around, and I cut it 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 also for the inside, okay? So right this minute we are going to go ahead and glue this down to the outside and get that done, and then I will show you how we're going to get both sides of the DSP to show on the front. And I love this technique. It's simple, but it's effective, and it's so pretty. So pretty. Let's scoot that over a little bit there. Now we are straight. All right, make sure I'm staying in camera. Okay, guys, it's really easy. You're going to take it, and you're just going to tear it. And you're going to tear it toward you. And if you keep your thumb close to it, you can control how straight or how crooked you tear it, right? So there we go. And the reason why we cut this 6 inches, you're going to flip one piece over. It doesn't matter. You can do it this way. You can do it this way. Whatever looks good to you, that's your call. And we're going to take this, and as Jackie explained in her video, once you tear it, if this DSP was the same size, then once you tore it, you would probably end up with a gap all the way across, okay? And you don't want to do that. So by cutting it 6 inches, that gives you a little bit more room for overlapping. And again, you know, if you want bigger borders, then cut this layer at 4 by 5 1/4 and cut your DSP at 3 3/4 by, again, by 6. Okay, Do that either way you want to. And I'm just going to get my margins, hopefully, straight and the same on the sides, top. Okay, we got that. Now I'm going to turn this over. The glue goes on this side, but in this beautiful paper. I'm loving this paper. We're not even officially into winter, and I'm already ready for spring. And I gotta tell you guys, I am so tired of doing Christmas cards. I am so done with doing Christmas cards. Okay, be mindful that you want to make sure you're lined up on the sides and that you have the same border going across. And there we go. So far, so good, right? Awesome. Now, I'm going to take, this is the linen thread. You get 4 different sizes of linen thread in here. You have fine, you have medium, almost have like a medium plus, and then you have a large, and I tend to go to the medium every time. And what I should have done was do that on the back of this piece before, but that's okay. I'll fix that. I will fix that. I am going to take just a little bit of my Stampin' Seal Plus. Now, me and Stampin' Seal Plus don't get along very well, and we don't get along very well because if you don't hold your mouth right, it tears your paper. Okay? And I'm just simply going to put a little bit there, and while that's holding that, I'm going to bring it around. And I'm going to do that like 3 times. Now, I don't want it behind the card. I want it, whoops, pulled it too hard. All right, come on, let's get with it. All right, there we go. Now we're down. Mashed it down in there pretty good. I don't think it's going to come out again. And just 1. And 2. And I hope everybody has been able to take advantage of the sale that has been going on with Stampin' Up! This week. Because of my work hours, let me get my ribbon cutting scissors here. Because of my work hours, yeah, so I do 10 a.m. to 7. And even though I'm up early, I have things I have to get done and took care of before I can go out the door. And make sure I'm still on there. I'll add just a little bit more if I can get it to stay. I just need to anchor that down. Oh, come on. Come on. Get in there. It does not want to cooperate. There we go. I knew it'd see my way. And I'm just going to take a look at it here on the front. I'm kind of liking that. I want it a little bit closer together. But isn't that a cool little technique? And it's real quick and it's real easy. Now, do you have to add the twine? No, you don't. You could actually take yet another piece of coordinating DSP and run it down the side if you wanted to. But the whole idea is to make it really easy to mass produce. So, what I'm going to do to cover up my boo-boo, since I forgot to put my twine on before gluing everything down. And, you know, that's my fault because I'm not used to using twine and ribbon a whole lot. And that is something that's not in my comfort zone. And it is something that I need to overcome. So stay tuned, guys, as yours truly deliberately incorporates more ribbon and all that kind of thing. And now that also means I'm going to need another piece of balmy blue. And I bet I don't have one. So, give me just a second here, and I'm going to cut another piece of 4 1/4 by 5 3/8 ever so quickly. And hoping everybody's had a good week. I'm telling you, the weather, depending on what part of the United States you're in, has just been wild, hasn't it? And, you know, just last week, we had temperatures in the 70s. And I told somebody then, I said, you know what? I said, we have all these wonderful, wonderful spring-like temps. We're going to pay for it. And we are, because our weather got very cold, very windy. Yeah, so I haven't even looked tonight. I know it was below freezing here last night. Close to that the night before. I think the high yesterday was 54, you know, which is not bad. Any of you that are watching that are up north, you're probably snickering at me right about now. But that's okay. Maybe your temperatures have been extreme as well. Oh, heavens, is that not crooked? Come on now. Let's pull that down just a hair. There we go. Must not have cut that totally straight. That's okay. We're going on. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and try to stamp the sentiment, for I, the Lord your God, will hold your right hand on the inside. Now, Divinity Designs is a good company, and they have lots and lots and lots of scripture stamps for any occasion, and I'm not trying to put a plug in for them, but I will tell you, and oh my heavens, I don't even know what I got on there, but anyway, they don't have decals to put on their stamps like we do, so you have to be really careful when you mount them. Make sure you've got it the right way up before you ink it up. And what I simply do, I mount it and then I turn it over, and I'm kind of holding it up in the air at eye level, and I just try to make sure it's straight. And I did do a little practice stamping, and of course, the very first time I stamped it upside down. All right, so we're going to hope that I can stamp this kind of straight on the inside, and then we will finish up the outside. Okay, that looks like good ink coverage there. And once again, so basically if you look at the stamp as a whole and put the whole shape down as straight as you can figure it, and if this is crooked, guys, forgive me. I haven't figured out how to put the label on the back of the stamp. All right, not too bad. Got a little hair or something right there. Oh, a little eyelash. Okay, so there we go. Not too bad. And I love the font. I thought that was really, really pretty. And then, because of my boo-boo, it gives me more room to write more of a personal message, if that's what I want to do. And normally whenever someone is sick, or if it's a sympathy card, I usually do kind of pour my heart out to them and let them know, you know, my heart breaks for them. And it does, doesn't it? The people we love, the people we care about, when they're going through something really hard, our heart does break for them. And some people are not as able to fight off flus and things as easily as maybe the rest of us are, right? Okay, now, here is the Sending Healing Thoughts Your Way. And I've got just a scrap piece of balmy blue. And I got out my Label Your Fancy punch. And I looked in the catalog to make sure this wasn't retired, because things can kind of slip up on me. It's not retired, but I'm thinking they updated this or changed it in some way, because mine does not fit the picture that's in the catalog. And let me show it to you here. So in our current annual catalog, it's on page 153. And do you see this? And the little dot right there? But it's Label Me Fancy. It's the same shape. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they changed it up and I just kind of missed out on that. I'm not sure. And then again, maybe I was in a hurry and maybe this isn't labeled me fancy. I don't know. Anyway, we are going to go. I want to stamp it first and then punch it. So I'm going to get out my Night of Navy so it'll show up very crisp on that balmy blue. And see how we're stamping here. Yeah, that's straight. Oh, I was out of camera on that. I'm sorry. Well, I did a test stamp. Yes, it was straight. But will this one be straight? Well, by stamping in the middle of that scrap, I can finagle it if it's not, right? There we go. I like that thin font. Okay. Let me stamp off my excess ink and then clean it, my Stampin' Scrub. I've used this for a while now without cleaning Mr. Stampin' Scrub, and I'm betting this weekend it gets a bath. All right, I'm just going to close that up, lay that gently to the side, and get it right back out. I swear, people, sometimes I think I have Alzheimer's. All right, so I'm just going to try to get that centered right in the middle, top and bottom, side to side. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. One of the things I thought I might do, I previously had used this leaf stamp from the framed Florets stamp set, but I honestly don't. I don't think it needs it. I think it might make it too busy if I do that. So let me get my Tombow back out, and I'm going to glue this down, and I'm going to kind of center the middle here and the middle here with about where I tore it, so that my punched out piece kind of draws the whole card together in some continuity. But I like this technique. Sometimes we just like to rip paper. And there's a lot of different techniques for tearing your paper, for making cards out there. And this is just one of them. And I don't think that's straight. Let me get that real quick before that sets up, if I can. All right, did I get it up there? I got it. All right, we got that. Then, now where did my twine go? Here it is. I've almost used this all up. And I'm going to take and try to straighten this out. See how curly it is? But if you pull on it, you can kind of get a lot of that out of there. And yes, I know me. I am all fingers when it comes to tying bows. And so I cut probably way too much, but let's make sure that I don't shortchange myself. I'll tie that there into a knot. And I normally, before I start a video, will say a quick prayer to God for his help, his guidance, his strength, his wisdom. And I didn't do that tonight. Can you tell? I didn't. All right. We had something really weird happen this past week. I mean, it's just really odd. Now, we have wonderful, wonderful neighbors. I can't vouch for everyone who lives on this road. So, Monday night, when I got in from work, my husband said, "Why did you take down the little fall decoration that was on the front door?" And I looked at him and I said, "I didn't take it down." And I had just come through the front door, okay? And hadn't even missed it myself. So I opened up the door and sure enough, it wasn't there. And I had just hung it up there, I don't know, maybe a week before. And it was going to be the last year for this particular decoration. It was a few years old. It was, I don't know what you call that stuff, like a masonite. I mean, it wasn't real wood, but it was a mason jar, and it was probably maybe 10 to 12 inches long, a few inches wide. Had a piece of metal across the top to represent the metal band on a mason jar. And it just had really cute fall leaves and things printed on it with the words in glitter, thankful, let's see, blessed, thankful, and happy, something like that. Anyway, it wasn't there. And he went outside with a flashlight and he looked under the front porch. The command hook was still there. That's been there for a few years. It's still holding strong for my little wreaths and things. And so it was at that point, we didn't know if it was took Monday or if it could have been took maybe even last Friday and us not notice it, because like I said, I come in the door and hadn't even noticed it wasn't there. But it was faded out. The orange was more pink than orange, and this was going to be the last year I was going to use it, and then I was going to get rid of it. And so then I panicked and I went flying out the back door, and I'm checking on other things that, you know, possibly could catch somebody's eye, and I start locking it up in our storage building. We have cameras now. God has been good. The camera set we were looking at was almost $400 for 5 different cameras. And because of a Black Friday sale, we got them for less than half. So, yes, God is good. Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, what do you think of this quick little technique? But isn't that cute? Now, there is a myriad of things that you can do. You know, you could do bows and not do the twine all the way. In her video, and please do go watch it. Like I said, it's Stamp Happy, and the NZ stands for New Zealand, Jackie Williams, and she does show some other things, so I don't want to give it away. Now, I went back to my Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and I got out my dark Evergreen Stamping Blend, and I see I've got one flying loose in there, and I colored 3 of them, even though I'm using like Night of Navy and Balmy Blue for the most part. I want the brush. I like using the brush end, and then I'm just going to color these in that Evening Evergreen. Get 3 of those going. And I don't know, can you tell it's still letting the sparkle through? It is. I don't know, sometimes some of this stuff, I'm just like a little kid and it fascinates me. It truly does. But, here we go. And I put a little smudge right there, so I'm going to try to cover some of that up. It's just been a smudgeful day. What can I say? It's just been one of them days. Oh my goodness. That's okay. It's all good. God is good all the time. All right. I'll lay that to the side. And now what do you think? That just kind of polished that off, didn't it? A little bit. And of course you could have used Night of Navy ribbon, any kind of ribbon you had. I thought I had some Evening Evergreen and some soft succulent ribbon, and I may just have overlooked them. Could have sworn I had them, but then I couldn't find them to use. So thank goodness for the twine, right? All right, guys, I hope this will cause you to think about doing mass producing cards. Cut your card bases, cut your DSP, stamp and punch out your sentiment. And then assembly is just like boom, 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 right? All right, I hope this helps, guys. I hope this gives you a new idea for creating those cards that unfortunately we need this time of the year, right? All right, and just remember, God will hold your right hand and he will help you. So y'all be blessed. Have a very, very good week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.